Sean Strickland got suspended. Sean comes in the ring and wastes absolutely no time in punching him. Getting hit by Sean Strickland is a very dangerous proposition as it is, but a no-gloved, they decided to not arrest him, but that was on the table. But it was Luis Hernandez who came out, who, by the way, happens to be a police officer. And Luis says, they asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said, of course not.
Sean Strickland just got hit with something no fighter ever wants on their record. After a wild altercation earlier this year, the Nevada Commission has finally made their ruling. Strickland is officially suspended for 6 months, and while that's already a huge punishment, the story behind why it happened makes it even crazier. He's also facing fines and the possibility of mandatory anger management. And if that wasn't enough drama in the fight world, Rampage Jackson has been making headlines too. He didn't hold back when he shut down Dricus du Plessis for even daring to bring up a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev. For Rampage, the idea was laughable, and he explained exactly why. These two stories are explosive on their own, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. Over the past week, MMA fans have been hit with one shocking update after another. From sudden roster cuts, to heated rivalries being reignited, to legends stepping up for charity, this week has had everything. So buckle up, because we're about to break it all down, one story at a time.
When the trash talk between Sean and Dricus got a little dark there with the child abuse and then the brawl at 296, did you ever consider going to those guys and saying, hey, this might be the one time you need to tone it down?
I don't tell anybody to do anything. I don't try to control any other human beings in any way, shape, or form. They do it this way. I say it all the time, we're in the fight business, and
Let's start with one that surprised a lot of people. Bryan Battle, a fighter many thought would be sticking around for years, has been cut from the UFC. Battle isn't just some random fighter. He made his name by winning the Ultimate Fighter back in 2021, securing his place on the roster and quickly building a solid record. In fact, he went 7-1 inside the octagon, which is no small accomplishment. But talent alone isn't enough in this sport. At UFC 319, he showed up overweight by 4 pounds.
Bryan Battle officially released by the UFC. This is coming after his most recent weight miss at middleweight, where he was above the middleweight limit by 4 pounds. He weighed in at 190. The limit for non-title fights is 186. And it makes sense they're cutting him. This is now his 3rd official weight miss, and before this, he missed weight at welterweight.
That may not sound like much to casual fans, but in the UFC, it's a serious issue. Fighters sign contracts promising to hit a certain weight, and missing it is seen as unprofessional. What made it worse was that this wasn't his first time. Battle had already moved up from welterweight to middleweight after struggling to make weight in his previous division. The move was supposed to fix the problem. Instead, he came in heavy again. For the UFC, that was the last straw. It doesn't matter how good you are in the cage if you can't make it to the fight prepared. Fans were stunned when the news broke, but it also sent a clear message to every fighter. Missing weight repeatedly can cost you your career. And this wasn't the only unexpected update from the week. While Battle was dealing with a career setback, another familiar face was just happy to be alive. Ben Askren, the former UFC fighter known for his wrestling and his outspoken personality, has been battling something far more serious than any opponent in the cage.
So I only died 4 times, right, where the ticker stopped for about 20 seconds. That's not ideal. I don't think you guys know that.
Wrestler and MMA fighter Ben Askren is sharing his shocking double lung transplant experience.
Askren underwent a double lung transplant, a procedure that very few people recover from. Recently, he gave fans an update on his condition, and it was surprisingly positive. He said he's finally home from the hospital and has even started walking without a walker. For someone who just went through such a massive surgery, that's almost unbelievable. He admitted he's still frail and skinny compared to his old self, but the fact that he's getting stronger every day has lifted his spirits. Askren even joked that he felt like he was bragging by giving good news in his updates. Fans who used to love or hate his fighting style now find themselves rooting for him in a much bigger battle, his fight for health. Watching him push through something so life-threatening has been inspiring, and it shows that the toughest fights don't always happen inside the octagon. But while Askren was sharing good news, Nate Diaz was busy stirring the pot.
Ben Askren just woke.
I don't remember anything from May 28th to July 2.
I saw that popping up on my feed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't even look the same. It's such a
didn't even recognize him. Oh, it looks completely different.
Nate Diaz has never been one to hold back his opinion, and this week was no different. He went after Khamzat Chimaev, criticizing his performance against Dricus du Plessis. According to Nate, Khamzat fought scared. He pointed out that during the fight, Chimaev had full control on the ground, but instead of throwing damaging shots, he settled for weak punches. To Nate, that was proof of fear. He argued that a fighter who's truly confident would risk letting go of control to land powerful strikes. Instead, he said Chimaev clung too tightly, worried that Du Plessis might escape if he opened up. Diaz didn't stop there. He went as far as to call Khamzat a scared child, stripping away the intimidating image Chimaev has built. Fans reacted strongly. Some agreed, saying the fight looked cautious and lacked the aggression people expect from Chimaev. Others defended him, arguing that controlling an opponent and winning decisively isn't fear, it's smart strategy.
The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely you can do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Either way, Nate's comments added fuel to the ongoing debate about whether Khamzat is the unstoppable monster people once believed. And speaking of fighters who can't seem to avoid controversy, Jon Jones found himself back in the headlines. The rivalry between Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier is one of the most personal in MMA history, and it just flared up again. It started when Cormier was asked to pick his Mount Rushmore of MMA. He named legends like Georges St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. But when it came to Jon Jones and Anderson Silva, DC refused to include them. His reason? Both had failed PED tests. For Cormier, that disqualified them from being considered the greatest. Those comments didn't take long to reach Jones, and he fired back on social media. Jones said DC can't tell his own story without bringing Jon into it, claiming he's always the co-star in Cormier's narrative.
This is the biggest show ever. Before the show, Niner is the stage manager. I go, hey man, Jon Jones is gonna be here. Please, when he comes to try to shake my hand, would you please tell him I'm working, I don't want to be bothered. As soon as the show starts, guess who shakes my hand? Jon Jones. And he goes, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
He then reminded fans of his achievements becoming the youngest UFC champion, dominating opponents for over a decade, and building one of the most impressive resumes in MMA history. Jones argued that his success wasn't the result of drugs, but his natural talent and relentless work ethic. He admitted it was insulting to have his career dismissed as the product of steroids, but he also said it made him laugh, because deep down he believes his abilities are something Cormier could never match. The back and forth reignited their feud, proving that even years after their last fight, the rivalry still burns hot.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Cyril, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Cyril just did some weird stuff. And Jon, you don't make mistakes against him.
And while those two were trading words, Dana White was busy shaping the middleweight division's future. The UFC boss announced that Reinier de Ridder will face Anthony Hernandez in Vancouver, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The winner is expected to be in line for a middleweight title shot. But they're not the only ones in the conversation. Caio Borralho and Nassourdine Imavov are also contenders, with their own fight scheduled. De Ridder, never shy about speaking his mind, said he doesn't think Borralho deserves a shot. His reasoning? Inactivity. Borralho hasn't fought in nearly a year. While De Ridder is already set for his fourth fight in 2025, he argued that staying active should matter and that he's proven himself by constantly stepping up. Fans are split. Some agree with De Ridder, saying fighters who stay busy should be rewarded, while others argue that quality of wins should matter more than quantity. Either way, the middleweight division is heating up and the road to a title shot is more competitive than ever. But while De Ridder is fighting for his place, Aljamain Sterling is fighting to prove something different. Sterling's upcoming bout against Brian Ortega isn't just another fight, it's a chance to show the world he's more than just a grappler. In interviews, Sterling has said he plans to showcase his striking, something he's been working hard to improve. Still, he knows Ortega is dangerous. With elite jiu-jitsu and the ability to pull off submissions from almost anywhere, Ortega is a threat every second of the fight. Sterling admitted he has to fight smart, control the pace, and avoid mistakes. His goal is to win every minute, whether it's through striking exchanges, wrestling, or pressure. For fans, this fight is exciting because both fighters have clear strengths and weaknesses. Sterling's confidence in his evolving skill set makes this matchup unpredictable, and if he does show off improved striking, it could change how people view him as a fighter. But while Sterling is preparing for Ortega, another fighter is chasing a very different goal. Belal Muhammad has been vocal for months about wanting big fights, and now he's narrowed his focus to just one name, Kamaru Usman. In a Q&A, Belal told fans he isn't paying attention to anyone else. For him, Usman is the fight. He even asked fans to let Usman know he's ready if they see him.
That's also a pretty big fight, former champ for former champ, a lot of backstory. Is that something you would entertain if the UFC, came to you about it?
Who is it?
Belal Muhammad.
Who is it?
Former welterweight champion Belal Muhammad.
Next. I forgot it. Next.
Thanks, champ.
Thank you.
Belal has been hungry for a chance to prove himself against one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and he believes this fight would cement his place among the elite. For Usman, who's coming off some tough losses, the matchup could be a chance to rebound, but nothing's official yet, and until contracts are signed, Belal will keep pushing. His persistence might finally pay off, but for now, it's just another storyline waiting to unfold. Meanwhile, in another corner of the fight world, respect and generosity were on display. Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier may have battled inside the cage, but outside of it, their respect for each other is clear. Recently, Holloway sent Poirier the gloves he wore in their fight at UFC 318. Poirier, who's now retired, revealed that he'll be auctioning them off for his Good Fight Foundation. The proceeds will go toward helping people in Hawaii, showing how the fighting community can come together to make a difference. For fans, it was a touching reminder that beyond the rivalries and trash talk, fighters often share deep respect. Poirier praised Holloway as a great champion and a great person, while Holloway showed that his heart is just as strong as his fighting spirit. Stories like this show another side of MMA, one that doesn't always make headlines but deserves to. But not every story this week was heartwarming. One of the most chaotic headlines came from Sean Strickland. Back in June, Strickland was cornering his teammate at a Tough Enough event. When his fighter lost, the opponent started taunting Strickland and Chris Curtis. That's when things exploded. Strickland stormed into the cage and started throwing punches, creating absolute chaos. The footage went viral, and fans were quick to debate whether he crossed the line or was just standing up for his teammate. The Nevada State Athletic Commission reviewed the situation and has now handed down their ruling. Strickland is suspended for 6 months. On top of that, he's been fined $5,000 plus legal fees. His teammate Chris Curtis was fined as well. For Strickland, this is a major setback. A 6-month suspension means lost opportunities and a big pause in his career momentum. Still, there's a way to cut it short. If he completes an anger management course, the suspension could be reduced to 4.5 months. Even so, the damage is done. The incident adds to Strickland's reputation as one of the most unpredictable figures in MMA. And just when fans thought this was the wildest story of the week, Rampage Jackson stepped in with his blunt honesty. When Dricus du Plessis mentioned the idea of a rematch with Khamzat Chimaev, Rampage Jackson didn't hesitate to shut it down. In his eyes, Dricus didn't just lose, he was dominated. Rampage said Dricus shouldn't even be saying the word rematch in the same sentence. TJ Dillashaw agreed, adding that Chimaev's performance was on another level. Dillashaw praised Chimaev's cardio, saying it was insane to see him maintain that kind of pace for 5 rounds. He admitted he thought the fight would be harder, but Chimaev made it look easy. From the takedowns to the control on the ground, everything pointed to a massive gap in skill. Rampage even suggested that Dricus might need to consider changing divisions because the matchup was that lopsided. Fans had mixed reactions. Some felt Rampage was being too harsh, while others agreed completely. Either way, the message was clear. As far as legends like Rampage are concerned, Dricus isn't ready to run it back with Chimaev anytime soon.